Is Joby Aviation's 523-mile flight a big leap for air travel, or just a clever way to get attention? What new technology is making hydrogen-powered flying possible? How could this flight change regional air travel and shake up the aviation world? With these questions in mind, let's dive into what Joby's flight really means for the future of flying. Welcome to our channel. Joby Aviation kicked off in 2009, thanks to founder Joe Ben Beavert. They've always been about pushing the boundaries of electric vertical takeoff and landing, or eVTOL tech. Back in 2021, they wowed everyone with a 154-mile flight powered by batteries, showing what electric flying machines could do. Now, they're switching things up and focusing on hydrogen electric technology, which is a huge shift. This flight utilized a hydrogen fuel cell system, the H2F-175, which enhances the energy-to-weight ratio significantly, allowing for longer flight distances compared to traditional battery systems. This isn't just about better tech, it's a smart way to tackle the limits of battery power, especially when it comes to how far and how heavy their aircraft can go. Hydrogen fuel cells could help them go further and be more efficient. Plus, this shift lines up with what's happening around the world, with countries like the US and China throwing a lot of money into eVTOL tech. The eVTOL game is getting crowded, with companies like Archer Aviation and Volocopter jumping in. What makes Joby stand out is their focus on regional air travel, giving them a bit of an edge. Meanwhile, China's also stepping up, with companies like EHang running a bunch of test flights already. All this competition is pushing Joby to stay ahead. So, that 523-mile flight in Marina, California isn't just about showing off. It's also their way of saying, we're still leading the race. The star of this flight is Joby's S4 eVTOL, a slick and futuristic-looking aircraft. It's got 6 rotors on a lightweight frame, making it perfect for zipping around cities. This compact design is key for flying in tight urban spaces. One of the standout features of the S4 is its hydrogen fuel cell system, the H2F-175. This tech not only helps the aircraft fly longer distances, but also cuts down on carbon emissions, which is a huge plus for the environment. The H2F-175 fuel cell generates electricity through an electrochemical reaction, emitting only water vapor, making it a standout in environmentally friendly aviation. By going the hydrogen route, Joby is really setting itself up as a frontrunner in the push for cleaner aviation. Now, let's talk performance. A 523-mile flight is no small feat. The S4's energy-to-weight ratio outdoes traditional battery systems, meaning it can go much farther without the extra weight that comes with batteries. By the end of the flight, it still had 10% of its hydrogen fuel left, which is pretty impressive. This level of efficiency is a big deal for regional air travel, opening up routes that seemed impossible before. Covering such a long distance on just one tank of hydrogen is setting a new bar for what eVTOLs can do. Joby's also doing some cutting-edge stuff with hydrogen tech. They plan to produce hydrogen on-site using renewable energy sources, which could enable the aircraft to potentially fly over 900 miles on a single charge. The aircraft stores cryogenic liquid hydrogen in a vacuum-jacketed tank, keeping it at around 423 degrees Fahrenheit, which optimizes fuel efficiency and safety during flight. Even though using hydrogen in aviation is still pretty new, Joby's making strides that could change the game. The idea of producing hydrogen on-site could revolutionize how we fuel aircraft, making flying way more eco-friendly. Joby's 523-mile flight isn't just a win for them. It's a huge moment for regional air travel and could make hydrogen a real contender for replacing traditional aviation fuel. With the aviation industry scrambling to cut down emissions, hydrogen is shaping up to be a solid option. This flight proves that hydrogen-powered aviation is possible, and it could get more companies to start pouring money into this tech. With big names like Boeing and Airbus also looking into hydrogen, Joby's success might help speed things up and bring hydrogen to the mainstream sooner. As Joby gets ready for commercial flights, they've got to deal with a maze of regulations. That 523-mile flight is a big step in showing the regulators that the S-4 aircraft is safe and reliable. The FAA, or Federal Aviation Administration, has strict rules for certifying eVTOLs, and these successful test flights are critical for Joby to meet those standards. Joby's aiming for certification by 2025, which is pretty ambitious. This recent flight helps their case for getting approved and shows how serious they are about both safety and innovation. By tackling these regulatory challenges head-on, Joby's setting itself up to be a major player in the eVTOL world. In the fast-paced aviation world, money talks. Joby's 523-mile flight couldn't have come at a better time to catch the eyes of investors. The buzz around the flight has definitely gotten some major media attention, showing just how much potential Joby has to shake up air travel. Joby is aiming to kick off its commercial air taxi service by 2025 using its battery-powered electric aircraft. The company is already listed on the New York Stock Exchange and has pulled in over $2 billion in funding, with big-name investors like Toyota, Delta Airlines, SK Telecom, Uber, and Bailey Gifford backing them. With more and more investors looking at the booming eVTOL market, Joby's recent wins put them in a really strong spot. Joby's founder, Joby Aviation, has a vision that's not just about cool tech. It's about changing how we think of regional air travel altogether. The idea is to set up a network of air taxis that don't depend on the usual airport setup, making air travel easier and faster for everyone. They're dreaming of a future where urban and regional air travel blends seamlessly into everyday life. A big part of this plan is to eventually produce hydrogen on-site, meaning we could see fueling stations pop up in key spots. By cutting down on the need for tons of ground infrastructure, Joby wants to make travel faster and way more convenient. While hydrogen tech sounds super promising, it's got some big challenges. One of the main issues is the infrastructure needed to support hydrogen-powered aviation. Right now, there aren't enough hydrogen fueling stations, which could limit how far Joby's tech can go. Critics are quick to point out that without a solid hydrogen infrastructure in place, Joby's plans could hit some roadblocks. On top of that, producing hydrogen in a truly green way is still a challenge, as current methods can lead to quite a bit of carbon emissions. Joby will need to figure these things out if they want hydrogen to become the go-to fuel in aviation. Even though the 523-mile flight was super impressive, some people see it as more of a marketing stunt. The timing of the flight and the flood of media attention have some skeptics wondering if Joby's mainly using this achievement to drum up hype and draw in more investments. So, what do you think? Does Joby's 523-mile flight signal a real shift in air travel, or is it just a clever PR move? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let's discuss. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love our related video. Why is Joby pursuing both hydrogen electric and battery electric propulsion? Click here to find out how these two technologies could shape the future of flying.